Hello and welcome back to the things that we talk about. My name is Ane.
My name is Jeremy.
And there's Jessica behind the camera.
And today we're going to be talking about the age-old story of bullying.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone does this before.
Okay, wait. We can't say everybody does bullying before.
I mean everybody is a subject of this topic.
Yeah, whether you know
you're the bully,
whether
or
you're the bully, or correct.
Whether you're the bully, the bullied,
or the victim,
or victim, or the bystander.
Wait, is it the bully?
Or what do you call it? A person that
Being bullied.
eggs on bullying, like eggs on.
Bystanders.
Like not cheerleaders. Like beat that shit up. What do you call it?
Is it a bystanders or accomplice?
Accomplice.
So
our English today is not very great.
Yeah.
Okay, just give us a chance.
We gonna bully today, so
Yeah. Today, yes, I know the main topic this 2 weeks is is it 2 weeks? Has it been 2 weeks? I think it's been 2 weeks. It's probably 2 weeks. Anyways, it's the kid that was being bullied in university, right?
Yeah.
In university, is it?
No, it's in
MRSM. Okay, MRSM.
So the backstory why we're doing this topic, because I think this is, like Jeremy said, an age-old topic that we need to talk about, because things that we talk about.
Yeah. This is thing that we talk about, and yes, we have to talk about it.
Last week there was an incident. So what happened?
So basically, a 10th form 1 student in an MRSM in Kuala Kangsar, Perak, were expelled over a bullying incident. Okay, look, it's a form 1 student.
Yeah, they're 13. I was so shocked when I found out
Wait,
they were 13.
form 1?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't know they were form 1. The whole time I thought they were university students.
No.
My bad, didn't research.
So MRSM is I forgot what it stands for, but it's a boarding school.
It's a boarding school.
We have in Malaysia. That's only for Malays.
Yes.
Am I right?
Basically,
Muslims?
Yes, in Malay
Yeah,
it's
it's
called Asrama Penuh.
Asrama Penuh is by Mara. It's
Yeah.
a boarding school by Mara. So there's a lot of it.
It's difficult to get in.
Basically, you have to be smart to get in. Yes,
So that's the
basically.
premise, right?
But there's an exception lah. It doesn't mean that you're smart, you can get in. Maybe sometime, you're good at athletics or whatever, maybe you can get in. I'm not very sure, but I know most of my friends from MRSM, they're quite smart.
Yeah, I know they have good results.
They have good grades.
Or they're like athletic, very active in sport in a way lah. Okay, so what happened was there's a video of a student being assaulted by his peers on social media last week.
It was circulating.
Yeah, and then it took place around 1 to 2 a.m. The reason why it took place 1 to 2 a.m. is like it's boarding school, right? Nobody sleep. You're with your friend, you hang out and whatnot. Apparently, you know what happened? This is like kind of disturbing, but it's not really that disturbing lah. But it's like the incident start because one of the kid told the other kid to not watch porn.
The victim.
Yeah, like the victim was telling the other kid to not watch porn, and then the argument at first it was just the two of them, and then the other fella macam got backup. Some form 3 student decided to intervene and tell.
Well, not really intervene. Actually, helping the
other one lah.
Yeah.
Maybe support the part of like watching porn lah, or maybe that the point. So because the other reason is that the victim threatened to report it to the warden or to the warden or teacher.
Warden
It's a
or
warden.
teacher.
It's a warden.
Yeah.
The warden is the teacher.
Yeah, to report to the warden
He is the warden.
if they don't stop watching porn lah. So basically, then like the certain good thing very sensitive in school. Like tola kau aku
But then thinking about it, coming from smart students, right? Maybe not smart, like he said, probably athletically. They excel athletically, but still.
Did you watch the
Disappointing.
video?
Yes, I have.
So apparently, okay,
Snippets.
we said all of that for one, right? So there was only one Form 3 student lah. So God knows why this Form 3 student was hanging out with them anyway.
Maybe
But-
abang-abang lah, you know.
Brother, trying to be brother.
Abang kawasan, abang
Like,
kawasan.
So I remember I first saw it on Harith Iskandar's Instagram. He posted it.
Wow.
I didn't know how old they were. When I first saw the video, I was like, oh, is this like a video from like an old case?
Yeah.
Because it.
Yeah,
So
the phone, the video quality kind of sucks also lah.
Yeah, and then so many of bullying cases in Malaysia already, ma. So I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
thought like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
it's the
especially.
old one. And then I realized, oh, it's another case. And then it's the boy.
And it's a recent
I think it
case.
was a scene pula, but it was the part where the boy was being punched in the belly. And then I remember all their faces were not blurred, you know, like you can see all the faces clearly. And then after that, it got circulated around social media, and then some journalists were like, okay, we want to highlight the issue,
Yes.
but we shouldn't spread the video without blurring the kids' faces because they're
Yeah.
only 13. Then I was like, what? They're only 13? What were you doing when you were 13? Were you bullying and punching people like that?
I was bullying people. No, not true. No. 13. No, not bullying people.
I was being bullied.
Oh.
I don't trust him.
I was being bullied into playing basketball.
But that's not actually bullying. That's just coercing.
So it's
That's
not that
coercing.
traumatizing, right?
Yeah.
So what happened to the kid was he was brought to hospital and then treated for not so serious injuries.
Yeah.
But he was still in the hospital, lah.
Yeah.
And then
He was-
after the school investigated, then all the students who were involved were expelled,
Yeah.
officially expelled. But because they are only 13, they're basically minors. And then the victim didn't suffer like
Fatal
deadly
injuries.
So expulsion, what's the word?
Expulsion,
Is the
yeah.
only thing that can happen to them. That's the worst punishment for them now.
And also what are they gonna do? Put them in jail cells?
No, put them in juvie.
Yeah. Do we have juvie in Malaysia?
We do.
We do. But
Alright,
then again, juvie is for an extreme
Yeah.
Extreme crime.
offenders
So
lah.
this is, I'm not sure, but I don't think the victim's parents press charges, right? So
Really?
they don't. So I didn't read any. Correct me if I'm wrong, lah. But so far, the only thing is they were expelled. Maybe there will be more investigation later.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a further investigation into this matter lah, because again, this has been happening for a long
Yeah,
time.
this is
Hello,
not the
agency,
first one.
government bodies, please. Aiyo.
So for something like this to happen to a 13-year-old, right? For a 13-year-old to even do this, right? What could be in their mind? Why? And then the one who uploaded the video, is he considered like good, or was it a mistake?
Okay.
Good. What do you mean good?
Like
What?
maybe he was being, a
It's
spy.
sometimes the one who record it, I'm not sure whether the one who record the video, the intention is to help, or is he like just trying to record the situation like, oh,
For
He's
fun.
trying to spread a viral video. He's trying to like,
Yeah.
ni boleh viral ni. Probably
something
that's
like that.
the idea. But we don't know
Hmm.
for sure. But what we know is this is traumatizing for the victim and also for the bullies themselves.
Yep.
Because they are only 13. Okay, they still have 5 years of education left. Now they're not gonna get that kind of education in MISM.
Yeah.
Their parents are gonna be disappointed at them. What are they gonna do? And then their life is gonna change slightly a bit. And then
Failure.
people will know it's like, oh, ni budak bully tu.
Yeah, because their
mark for life.
faces
Yeah.
were
Exactly.
around, right? So have you seen this level of bullying when you were 13 or when you were in school?
I'm from Klang. Answer is yes.
Really? Like in front of your
Is it
eyes?
like super extreme?
What happened?
Yeah, there will be there. It's not that level of like panting or because we're in school.
Yeah.
Also, we don't really like go all the way punching one student lah. Usually it's just like pushing, shoving him around, take his bag, throw over the pagar, some shit like that. That kind of bullying lah.
that typical
Push, and then like trip him, and then
Trip
worst case would be there'll be a little bit of kick and punch involved lah. But it's like little bit lah.
Do you remember over what reason?
Usually,
Just
usually
out of
just
spite.
because
Just
they
because?
can. Just because they can.
Just
I mean,
because they can.
another reason usually is because what are you looking at?
Oh,
You know,
really?
This is
This is the thing.
What is
This-
the problem with, like, okay, girls aside lah? What's the problem with guys, right? Why do you guys have an issue with another
Okay,
guy?
not you guys,
It's
Okay, sorry.
girls also got.
No.
Guys.
Certain children or men,
Children.
maybe not men lah.
Children.
Men nowadays, when we see each other and then it's like we caught each other staring, it's like, and then it's just you just nod and then you
Nod,
move
like,
along.
so move along.
But then this usually those like is like, what you get?
Oh,
Tengok apa?
yeah, exactly.
In Hokkien, in Klang, they were quite job.
Why?
And it's like, oh, your lanchao, grow on your face one, is it? Is that why you asked me call? Anyway, point is, they are, they are children lah,
Okay.
They are very childish that way.
Look,
Cannot be stared at, is it?
Don't.
okay, I think
Insecurities.
I'm
I'm saying
not sure whether
insecurities.
this is what do you call it, psychologically correct. But what I think is children are raised to be a strong person. Like boys lah, we're supposed to be, this typical stereotype that boys must be manly, grow up to become very manly, cannot be afraid of people, must be strong, and whatnot. So these are maybe one of the reasons why they try to portray themselves like I'm strong. I cannot be bullied in a way like, and then he become bully instead rather than afraid of being bullied.
That means all these things start from home.
Yes, maybe from home, maybe because usually it's like a case where at home this kid has been bullied by the father or by the mother and
Or the
whatnot.
brother.
But when he go out in a different environment where nobody knows he's being bullied, he's trying to be strong, then to prove himself like I'm stronger
Yeah.
outside.
So
I can be
before he gets bullied, he bullies first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that I get it. If it's just one person, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, another similar case is like back in 2017. Actually, two other cases happened.
Actually, there's a lot of this
There's
case
a lot.
Yeah, but
Mostly
these-
unreported lah.
These
Yeah.
two cases were big because both the victims unfortunately ended up dying. Okay,
Yeah.
one is a 18-year-old, one is a 21-year-old, and this happened like 1 week apart, only, right? And both in different places, lah.
Yeah.
So, the 21-year-old is a cadet officer, right? Marine Navy
Yes.
officer. So he was bullied and like tortured and attacked by 12 other people, 12 other guys.
Yeah.
All also around the same age. Over an incident because they accused him of stealing a laptop. So they're trying to get him to confess. And then the bullying was so extreme that they burned, the most distinct one I remember was they burned him with a hot iron, right?
Yeah.
Burn his body and like punching and all
His
those
private
things.
part at all.
Yeah, so okay, I get it that for some maybe perpetrators, right? Maybe one or two, probably it's a perangai that they cultivate, I don't know, from home or wherever. But how can 10 or more people have the same mindset at once?
Okay, look, this is what we call, in the midst of all that tension,
Like hype, is it?
everybody don't think straight. They just want to like, okay, everybody just going into like, adrenaline.
Yeah.
All of this men trying to show that I can do better. I can do better too. Okay, I punch him in the stomach.
Yeah.
No, I punch him in the face. I kick him in the balls and what all not. So it's like
Trying to one up each other.
yeah, trying to one up each other, and then in a way it's like, but they don't realize that the consequences that they're doing. They don't realize that after all the adrenaline thing is gone, then they're like, what the fuck, oh shit. That's only when they hit you.
And especially the cadet officer case, right? Like you are basically not just punching or attacking the person, you're torturing him, How you as a human, how can you see someone being tortured like that and you still laugh about it and still be okay about it?
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure.
get it, like-
I'm pretty sure not like they laugh about it. I'm pretty sure some of them feel like they're like, oh, this is not right. But because there's so many of them,
So they're scared.
they're scared. If you back out, you'll
You
be
also
one of
kena.
them. You will kena lah. In the end of the day, it's like you know,
If you're not with us, you're against us.
yeah,
That's just how
I
it
mean,
is.
you can't sit with us, you know, that kind of thing.
And also this kind of people, you know, not this kind of people. It's not like, you know, they were born that way.
This behavior,
This behavior, when it cultivates in one person, other people maybe go through a similar backstory and all that stuff. So like normal lah, you know, like with everything else in society, birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
So they gravitate towards each other, you know. They create a group, a gang, you know, a gangster club or whatever, That's when, you know, this kind of people, they are united. So one person does one thing, everybody does it together.
Yeah. Like,
so that's the kind of camaraderie, brotherhood
like
behind it.
blood brothers,
Blood
you know,
brothers.
blood brothers. I die, we die.
Yeah. So if you're gonna rob a bank, we're gonna rob a bank with you. So if you're gonna if someone is bullying you, we're gonna bully them back together.
Yeah. And then what worse is that especially this cadet incident, they are all going to be military.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
They are all trained to think what is right and what is wrong.
Yeah.
And then they are all physically
Fit.
strong and fit.
They're like 21.
Yeah,
already.
you can imagine how
They're in their prime.
how fatal that could be.
Yeah.
You know, like
Oh,
almost
yeah,
12 people or
That's why it's fatal. He died.
yeah, he died.
And it's over even the 18-year-old boy's case, right? He was attacked by 5 people, around 16 to 18-year-old. So I think he and his friend were buying burgers, and then suddenly these people came and attacked the friend and him. But then he defended the friend, so he gonna attack even more severely lah. And he died from like head injuries and abdominal injuries.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what was the reason for this, but I remember like this, it was very petty. And then even the last week punya case and the cadet officer's case, all 3 very petty reasons, you know.
Yeah.
Watching porn, gonna tegur.
Okay, the laptop one maybe not that petty lah.
Not
but
maybe not
like
that petty
burn
lah.
him over like,
Okay.
and they're not even sure that
It was a serious issue, but the things that they did was obviously very, very wrong.
Yeah.
That it did not warrant that kind of treatment. Probably a little bit of, you know, it's like, hey, you know, come on, you know, tell us where did you hide the thing, where did you sell it off to, yada yada. You don't go like, let's burn him. That's
I
retarded.
think
That's
it could
retarded.
be also like when a person being bullied, there's two reaction to it. One is a scared reaction where they're like, okay. You know, they just agree and submit to it. Another reaction will be like, I'm not gonna give in to you. So maybe
It's
most
like,
probably
fuck
this
you and then
this
spit
one-
in your face.
Yeah, the more you're not giving in to the bully,
The more
they
they
become
become
aggressive. You know, they become more aggressive because they want you to submit to the bully lah.
The more you say, no, I didn't do it, no, I didn't do it. I have proof that you did it. And it's like, but I didn't do it. And then it's like, kick and stuff.
Can you
it's very
imagine
drama.
if like this is something, this is obviously not an isolated case,
Yeah.
like that Marine school one, right? Or what do you call that? Marine Navy school?
Yep.
So if things like that happen and most go unreported, how many of them are actually like in places of authority now?
Basically,
Probably in the highest places lah. We've seen also.
How scary is that?
I mean, all of this has been happening for a long time already. Like ever since maybe
The dawn of man.
the dawn of man. I don't know, but I think
The
bully.
the first caveman found another caveman is like,
And there's a-
you're doing that real wrong. Beat him. Everybody beat him.
Yeah. So, but then again, in Malaysia, especially in the boarding school, it's a very very common thing that happen.
Is it because they stay there?
One
definitely
because they
also.
stay there, and the one who's keeping an eye on them. Okay, look, I don't blame the warden or whatnot, but sometimes the warden close one eyes because for them it's like It's normal. Maybe when they were younger, they also experienced the kind of thing. It's like I've heard this thing that this is a tradition to bully new people.
They call it.
Called hazing.
And in Malay called ragging.
Ragging. So this culture has been around, and I feel like this culture is like obviously very wrong.
Yeah.
Because by right, the way to welcome your new generation is not by ragging them. Colony ragging them is to make them stronger. So when the older senior left, and there'll be the new generation, a stronger generation, not being bullied. But the problem is, this cycle keep going on, and at some point, it cannot be controlled anymore. Whoever start the ragging culture, like, fuck you, man.
Definitely, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck
And
you.
it's like long-lasting effect. You don't you build them up for something like to become stronger or whatever, right? But mentally, it can be traumatizing, lah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Especially
it's
most of them are
definitely
kids.
traumatizing mentally, lah. I mean, look, they're young. Some might be able to move on from their trauma when they go with the proper guidance, or when they really very deep down into themselves and forget about it.
Or they like really strengthen, and then it's like, I can get through this, and then go to therapy, and then it's like, okay, I let it go.
Therapy.
You know, this kind of trauma had a different effect as well. I mean, like, let's say you're being bullied, right? You couldn't bully, then you keep it inside of you, and one day you want to take revenge, you want to let it out,
So
and you could turn to become something much more dangerous than the bully that bullied you. It could be a murderer, it could be a rapist, it could be whatever.
Yeah, you could shoot up a school.
Yeah, you could shoot up a school. Like, okay, we are lucky in a way. Malaysia is very hard to get
Guns.
and
There is no gun violence.
Firearms.
And I wouldn't say there's no gun violence. There's
Yeah,
less.
there is, but it's very difficult lah.
very
Imagine if we Malaysia, it's like US, can get firearm very easily. I'm pretty sure we have a lot of shooting case in
God.
school and also at dog.
on the daily.
On a daily basis, you got bam, 2 kids die, bam, 7 kids die.
Yeah, everybody. You better watch yourself, and then start pulling out.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a little bit too much of movie, but then
Movie and games.
movie and game. But
No, don't blame the games. There's nothing wrong with games.
Look,
it's all movies.
Look, games also based on true stories sometimes. It happens,
Sometimes,
and then people make
Yeah.
do games.
Okay.
Alright.
You can't deny that there's some
Okay. It's like that. Okay. Obviously, videos, movies, and games are not to be blamed. Okay,
Of
these are
course.
purely fictional,
Okay.
and also these are movies.
Yes.
Not to be
But
replicated
I have
at
to
home.
say,
It plants the idea.
I have to say one thing.
Not all the time.
Yes.
It's all about people being smart enough to absorb this kind of thing. So when you
Agree.
when they don't have their proper teaching, and then they apply that in real life, that's when it's wrong. Minecraft is not for children. Stop letting them play.
You heard the term monkey see, monkey do, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
It applies really a lot to this bully case.
Correct.
Monkey see, monkey do. These are a very good example of monkey see, monkey do. You somebody bullies another person, and you're like, okay,
Jom lah, let's go bully
do this. These bystanders, sometimes they're just afraid to intervene because they don't want to be the victim of it. So they would rather be the one who bullied in the stronger team rather than the weak team. Nobody wants to be in the weak team anyway.
Yeah, I'm
Like-
always in the weak team.
Like the Form 1 student's case, right? When I saw that punch, the belly punch, right? I was like, this kid just watched Shang-Chi or what? Like, practicing some kung fu move like that, like his stance and all that, right?
Look,
So,
kids watch Shang-Chi, it cannot lawan kids watch WWE or WWF back then.
Yeah,
They
so-
want lagi dahsyat,
True.
so do you think bullying, right, based on this case as well as the cases in 2017, do you think it's getting worse or it's always been this way? We just don't know.
I think, personally, because I have quite a few friends, quite a lot of friends from boarding school and also friends not from boarding school. It doesn't matter, boarding school, not boarding school, even university also the same. This thing has been going on for a long time, and like I said, it has been passed down from generation to generation that one must bully the newcomer, so the newcomer becomes strong. But it goes to an extent where it's uncontrollable anymore. Like you don't see the extent where a test of courage versus bullying. You know, a test of courage is very different from bully lah. A test of courage is like, you know, like the camp where you leave someone there and you gotta be strong, like army-related thing. But because even in the army also there's bully case, even in government agencies or government bodies like police, army, all also got.
And also the case of test of courage. Usually tests of courage are applied to people who want to be tested.
Yes.
Those who really volunteer themselves to join these camps to be tested.
Yeah.
People who went to universities want to study, not to become tougher. It's like that's not up to you, that's up to me. In my own pace. So fuck you for trying to kick me in my belly. Hopefully I become tougher. My dick.
Yeah, because I've been to a motivational camp where they, courage test and whatnot, like they do, but they don't force you into it. They will ask for a volunteer.
Yes,
like,
especially
you willing to be there
consent
or whatever.
Consent. It's like, are you sure you're ready for this? This is going to be tough. There will be cockroaches involved, stuff like that.
Yeah. Not like boom.
It's like this is for you. This is for you.
For you to remember who I am.
The cockroach thing is real, I don't know if I told this story, but like...
Yes, you have.
Right, I have.
Tell us again.
But he didn't throw it. I don't remember if the teacher threw a cockroach or a lizard into this kid's baju.
Yes.
And the kid just like freaked out, right?
Yeah, I can imagine the girly screams coming from...
Oh gosh. And this kid was really small size, so
Yeah. So it's just not right. This is bullying.
Yeah, that's obviously bullying lah. You're not supposed to do that.
So do you think teachers and wardens in like boarding schools like that should like not close an eye but also do something about it?
Okay, as for wardens, right, it's very hard. I can see that it's very hard for them to really. Because okay, look, you have to understand. Some kids are good at pretending and good at hiding.
Okay.
They're very good at hiding their nature, their personality, right? So especially in a boarding school, right? Those who you seems good boy and very pandai, sometimes are the bullies. Those
they
are
get a free
quiet
pass and stuff like that.
Usually the quiet ones are always being bullied, or sometimes the quiet ones also are the bully. It's very hard for the warden to identify. And then the thing is, imagine boarding school have maybe like 40, 80, 100 students, then you only have at night you might only have 1 or 2 of them to take care. How can you take care? Like in the middle of the night, they're supposed to go to sleep at 10 or 11, but they don't. They go and hang out with each other. That's boarding school culture.
Yeah, hang out with each other, and then do smoking or
smoke lah, this lah, watch porn lah, those kind of things lah. So the warden also sometimes like
okay lah, boys will be boys
stuff
like that. Yes.
Yeah, boys will be boys.
But okay, I don't know about your school or these boarding schools but my school, right? We had a really good, I would say good discipline teacher. Like at the time when I was in school, she was known to be like one of the toughest and most strict discipline teachers in school, around Subang schools. And my school was also known to have like pretty good discipline, even though we have, gangsters here and there, whatever, right? But we never had like super extreme violent cases or whatever. So if I remember correctly, this discipline teacher had spies, among the students. I should have like 1 or 2 maybe prefects. I would keep an eye on the students for her lah. So when it comes to boarding schools, right, takkan the teachers, it is impossible that the teacher and warden think like all their students 100% perfect and they just close their eye on whatever, right?
Correct.
So why can't they have, strategize a bit, like, plant a spy in that sense here and there?
You have to understand also, usually these kind of spies that are planted, these are the ones that pandai bodek, these are the ones that kamcheng with the warden and the teacher lah. The warden is the teacher. Okay, but for your case, this is a disciplinary teacher for the morning session only, right?
That time we only had 1 session.
So only one session, even easier. So it's like only 1 session, so you don't have to work in the morning. Then at night jaga budak lagi.
Yep.
As if you have no life.
So you're saying it's also the teacher's problem lah? Like
I wouldn't say it's the
teacher.
teacher's
I
problem.
mean, basically, it's like I said, it's very hard to keep control in a boarding school. Some more at night, the whole day already go to school, then at night you have to like go in circle and check whether the children are asleep or not. Yes, you might be able to do that until 10, but after that, you also need to rest. You also need to rest.
You will be pumped out, okay?
Yeah.
You will be pumped out. This is like, oh my god, on the daily you're doing this. And then some more, when you plant this spice, this
spy.
these spies turn out to be the bullies
themselves.
also.
Yeah. And then I think another reason why it's very difficult to plant these spies is because these spies might be afraid that they might get caught for telling or whatnot.
But-
and then their safety. Look, if the spy is like, you know, you're gonna be in the boarding school and then after you spill, everybody know it was you who's gonna spill it. Now, everybody will show no, like, let's say let's the three of us. We bully this person. I'm the spy. Then I tell the teacher, who else is the suspect in here? Only the three of us. You know? So obviously one out of third, my chances is like memang already
Low.
very low. Yeah, memang gone already lah.
But like this for my kid's case, the person who took the video also already know who Rima.
He is obviously an accomplice.
So my
Yeah.
point is right. This is not an isolated incident, like I said,
Yes.
right? So all these kind of schools, all the more they should keep a closer eye on
Yes,
students.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh.
But they don't get paid enough to do this shit.
Correct.
Do you see
So
the
that's
problem?
a problem. Man.
Getting paid is one thing. They don't hire enough staffers to do the job. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
They ask the teachers that work the morning shift, that's the one that have to do the night shift.
Yeah.
The fuck.
And then
you want them to die, is it?
So
Another thing is that boarding school are 5 days a week, and over the weekend they might depend on what they have on the schedule. They might and might not go back to their families lah. And you have to understand that 5 days a week, just keeping these students occupied all the time is also very difficult. You know, kicking or whatnot, and like you said, don't have enough people to attend to. And I think like this kid was supposed to be very independent. They were sent to a boarding school to be independent, to grow up, to be able to think and do what they think is right
And
and
also,
wrong.
to learn because
to
they are
live by themselves lah.
they are the better students. So they are the better students are allowed in. So the better students are supposed to be more,
Right.
correct up here to
Yeah.
understand, what you should do and what you shouldn't do, stuff
yeah,
like that.
even when it comes down to moral, right?
Yeah.
How can they not know how to differentiate?
I think sometimes it's like it's lacking of common sense. You know, like some people just don't have that common sense. You know,
and they don't think of consequences.
yeah. Usually,
Yeah.
consequences is like way in the back of their head.
Yeah.
They don't even think about it. They want to do something. It's what we call young blood. Young blood do whatever they want to do.
I don't know. I don't want to blame the parents, of course,
Yeah,
but it
man.
comes down to upbringing, I
Yeah,
feel.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
for
obviously.
me, right, when I was young, whatever I do, at the back of my mind, I have consequences. I think of the consequences because like the consequences I think of is my mom. How's she gonna react? Oh, she's gonna slap me. She's gonna beat the crap out of me. She's kind of. So the fact that they don't even think of consequences, right, means they're not taught to figure out, okay, if you do this is gonna happen. If you do this, we're gonna do this to you. They don't even have that kind of
You know why
logic
they don't have that kind of
or
thing? Because they're in a boarding school. You don't have your parents to scold you.
No,
Exactly.
like even before true.
You're in a boarding school. Who's gonna scold you? Your
No,
friend?
but it could be
That's
also
not.
like-
I'm gonna punch you in the face, bro.
No,
You know,
man.
that
I
kind of
mean,
thing.
consequences don't necessarily have to be what the parents will do to
Yeah,
you.
but then again, like you said, when you're at home, whatever that you do, you think about your parents, what they're gonna do because you're going back to your family, right? But in boarding school, you only go back to your family toward the end of the week.
But also means the
Right.
teachers are not strict enough, lah.
I don't think
They're
it's
not
not the
scared of
teachers
the
strict enough.
teachers.
Okay, teachers nowadays are also afraid. You take more stern action toward children, and the parents come and go like, "Hey, why you hit my son?" This and that.
You remember
Really?
not
Do
the
you
recent
remember?
post? He said what? Okay, you cannot nag the students. It will cause severe mental trauma.
Wow.
Yes.
Dude, nagging the student also cannot. Imagine, caning, twisting the nen,
Yeah.
all these things, all you cannot do already. So technically, you cannot discipline them.
Yeah.
I remember one recent one. I think a Chinese teacher got a text from the dad because the daughter didn't wake up for online class. Then the dad texted the teacher, "Why didn't you wake my daughter up?"
Yeah. See.
Like what?
See.
Not trying to say that parents are the 100% to be blamed lah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean.
But they take 80% of the responsibility lah.
Look,
let's be honest.
It's because how you raise your children is how they are going to be. Number one, it's not just how you raise; it's what you let your children watch. It's like who you let your children hang out with. It may sound very too particular from a person who don't have children, but for me, looking from the outside, like it's true. You have to be able to at least control your children, and you have to be able to. A form of discipline is the best when it gives you a certain of we call it understanding, a certain understanding of situation. But in a way, for you to give discipline to a person, like last time discipline is caning and whatnot.
Yeah, physical.
It works well because you know the pain and you don't want to feel the pain again.
That's true.
But then again, nowadays, you have so many rights. Children's right,
Yeah.
right, this right, alphabet right. I don't mean to be rude, but there's so many this kind of right. So at the end of the day, it's very difficult to implement discipline. Because children, how do you teach your children to listen to you? Just by scolding them. Do you think that will work?
Okay, and then also as a uncle to a nephew, parents nowadays are different than parents back in the days.
Yes.
Back in the days, their parents were also different.
Yeah.
So our generations gradually has become the way to teach a child has become different.
Yeah.
And then nowadays it's more, try to make them understand. Nowadays lah.
Yeah.
Okay, back then it's all about if I tell you once you don't understand, I will beat the shit out of you. That's different. That probably the one before that also is like, I'm not even gonna tell you, you should know. Or I'm just gonna beat you. That's it.
I think the generational upbringing change over time depends on technology, depends on culture, because we have so many mixed cultures and whatnot, right? And then we have more rights nowadays. Like a lot of law are being implemented, are being passed down. The things that you can do, you cannot do to children and whatnot. That could be the case of like how to discipline a person now, more of an advice of giving you a bigger picture so you understand. But then again, it's very hard to tell kids.
Yeah, will that work on 13-year-olds?
Highly unlikely.
we wouldn't say it won't work.
Yeah.
But for us, because our generation are different, so we see it in the lens that it is obviously not gonna work.
Yeah.
But then maybe from their lens is like, that's the correct way.
Yeah, because nowadays kids, even 13 years old, 7 years old, they already have phone in their hand, and they see what we at 14, 15 years old see, but 7-year-old now will see all those kind of things. Like you say, Squid Game. Hey, my nephew at least know about Squid Game, and they're like 10 years old and like 7 years old.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to know.
Because of the internet.
They know, but they're not allowed to watch it.
Yeah, they're not allowed to watch. So this kind of thing, like I said, our generation nowadays is getting smarter and smarter because of technology. We, like Jeremy said, maybe the way we look at it, it's not gonna work, but for them it's gonna work. But we just need to find that one middle ground, and how do we tackle this issue?
And also there's a lot of factors, It's not just certain times this kind of way of teaching it works for this particular individual, but then to another individual suddenly the outcome different.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors on that individual itself also. So like I've seen my cousins. Okay, I'm just gonna say it like it's Eugene. It's Eugene and his siblings. So each one of them are different. So the top two gets this kind of
Discipline.
teaching, this kind of way of teaching lah. And then the bottom two gets a different way of teaching. But these two sets, both of them also different. One is like this, one is like that. One is more yada yada, one is more yada yada. So it's not sometimes it's not a teaching thing. Sometimes it's the individual itself also, and like he said, the people they surround themselves with.
No, but they've never beat up anyone. All four of them, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
They were close.
That extreme.
Wow.
Okay, so
They
the
were
reason
close. Talking about you, Eugene.
the reason I wonder what kind of discipline that's appropriate, right? Is because for the 21-year-old cadet officer case, I think last month the bullies were sentenced. They finally had their trial, right? And although 12 of them, in total 18 of them were involved.
Yes.
Holy shit.
But only 6 of them were sentenced to 18 years in prison. The 12 others had other charges or whatever lah. And instead, they were charged for manslaughter instead of murder. So it's very different. So in Malaysia, if you're charged for murder, you're sentenced to death. But if it's charged for manslaughter, meaning murder without intent, means you only get prison sentence 18 years, right? So they will still probably be out like when you're late 40s, 50s, right?
But still, that's a generation they missed out lah.
The problem is, I saw the video of the 6 guys walking out. Their faces weren't blurred because they're already adults. So they were walking out after they got read their sentence, right? And they were smiling.
They were not remorseful lah.
Exactly.
The reason why they're not remorseful is because they're not sentenced to death. They got away with it.
But I feel like they will still smile even if they got death sentence, to be honest.
So it shows that how a person's upbringing is in a way lah.
So what kind of punishment is enough?
Okay, it's very hard to say what kind of punishment is enough.
For the Form 1 students case, both of you try to put yourself in the shoes of those Form 1, right? You beat the kid up for, scolding you for watching porn. And then you got expelled. So what would change your mind and make you feel remorseful other than being expelled? Because you're like, I'm expelled, I don't have to go to school anymore. Okay, whatever.
I got expelled before.
Okay.
From high school. So then again, at that age, it's very hard to feel remorseful. At that age, you don't feel remorse because I'm still young. I have still a lot future.
Yeah, it's okay if I don't go to school. I'll go to work lah.
Those kind of thing lah. But then if you put yourself, if I were to put myself in 13 years old, what would make me feel remorseful is parents. When parents says they're disappointed in me and whatnot, I feel like, am I useless and whatnot? Number one, or the other way around, where they okay, this is a lesson for you to learn. You shouldn't be like this and whatnot. But then again, it's hard to say lah. Different people lah.
Like he said, it's usually it depends on the individual what their level of thinking is, what their level of maturity is. If they know how to think about how their parents are going to be disappointed, probably because their parents, have that kind of connection with it.
Have that kind of conversation.
If they don't think about their parents and how disappointed their parents is, probably because their parents don't give a shit about them. Okay, but then when another point of view is when he says think about it as a lesson, that one is also up to them whether they know how to think that way or not. So when they don't think that way, of course you want to talk about what type of punishment is correct. But in the court of public opinion, everybody should die. Everybody who does something wrong should just. But that's public opinion lah. But then laws is law, and then of course there is a loophole and workaround, blah blah blah. All that stuff.
It still goes back to upbringing lah. It still goes back to how parents raise their children, because I've seen a sample of my nephew and niece. They were being raised by mobile phones and whatnot, right? And don't even listen to, even when the parents tell them to mandi or to makan, it's very hard for them to listen to, because it's like, but us back then, we were being raised by a hanger.
Yeah.
Tak mandi kepeang, you know?
No,
so
no.
it's a very different thing lah.
Usually got 2 warnings.
Yeah.
Okay, go and bathe. Okay, what time? You mean Bismillah, sing my kid, go and bathe. 2 time. Okay, come on. You want to go and bathe now?
Yeah, but okay, this behavior, right, it won't necessarily escalate to violence, you know.
Yeah.
So upbringing, of course, is one thing, but how can, like, you know, because this is happening in schools so much, right? How can the Ministry of Education and, you know, people in power in the government help to stop this from happening in schools? What should they do?
Like, there are campaigns of trying to, you know, because violence breeds violence, you know, violence breeds more violent and become more violent and violent and become very extreme to a point where, like, if there's no coming back from it. So I'm pretty sure there are an effort where when somebody bullies someone, instead of punishing that person for being bullying someone else, they would talk to that person and say, like, why, you know, find out the reason why you're doing that, on what purpose, on what ground that you bully this person. Is it because that person stared at you? Why? Do you have insecurities or whatnot that you're not happy with or whatnot? Or if you bully that person because you're like kena bully before, then where's the source of that coming from? Is it from home or from where?
So technically therapy lah.
Yeah,
Technically
it's a counselling.
Yeah, stand up for counselling or therapy lah. Because at the end of the day, even the baddest of the baddest human, the evilest of evilest human, can become the goodest of goodness man. How do I say
Your
it?
school have like counsellors?
Yes,
Oh, must?
yes.
Yeah.
No, all schools have counsellors.
No,
Yeah.
but do you remember, like,
Yeah. I have been sent to a counsellor's office.
really?
Yeah.
What do they do?
Yeah. They'll just tell you lah, okay, next time don't do this.
Exactly. They don't actually sit you down and talk to you, do
Okay.
they?
I've been sent to counselling office before lah. So that counselling teacher basically is telling me, there's no justice in this world. If you want justice, name your children Justice. I'm like, what?
So
Then he's
I'm
like,
preparing you for the real world.
yeah, like literally, like,
This was
but then again, that advice literally like put me in a situation where you think, what the fuck? This is so true.
No, it's so true, and it's a little bit too heavy for whatever your age was.
Yeah.
Okay, this is too soon.
Look, I'm like 14.
14.
I'm like 14.
No, it
I
went
was
dark
sent
quick.
there.
It went dark quick.
So
Yeah.
both of you have been sent to counsellor's office lah.
Yeah. But then we were sent to counselor's office not because we bully people,
Yeah.
because of our
You didn't
behavior.
punch anyone lah.
Our own behavior.
No, our own behavior.
Have you punched anyone before?
I've been in a fight before.
Okay.
Like, it's a gang fight before. So
That's it. That's not me.
But it's in school, you know, it's like high school gang fight in the corridor. After that, the teacher came, everybody ran away. Nobody gets injured. Like, literally nobody gets injured, you know.
Really?
That kind of thing. Yeah. Nobody gets injured. But like,
I only roughhouse with my friends lah. That's it lah.
So you're a bystander.
I wouldn't say I'm a bystander.
he's a hype man.
Hype man.
I'm the hype man who's like, yo, beat him up! Yo, shit! Yeah, no. Okay, back to the point. What should government do?
Yeah.
I think budget is one thing.
Yeah.
Very
Definitely.
honestly speaking,
Do they not have
Budget.
a lot of budget? The Ministry of Education?
see our government. Whoa! If I start talking about government, okay, never mind.
Say lah, kita keluarga Malaysia.
We don't want to say that lah, but yes. So the government obviously needs to allocate more budget,
Yeah.
but then because of our whole country, whatever Rasa is with,
Yeah.
but then they need to start out more. Budget is one thing, and then if you put like therapy into every single school, like there's like a weekly, maybe a monthly therapy session for every single student. That will also cost a lot of money and stuff. So
No, but at least hire not just any random teacher who has
so what you're saying is stepping up the at the level of educators that we have.
No, I think what we need is a revamp of education system.
Or hire a part-time psychologist or even a part-time therapist.
Money.
Yeah, so yes, you got to invest in our kids.
And exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Budget is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then government budget, they our government right now is not fully focusing on education. It's pretty obvious.
It's obvious.
It's focusing, of course, now it's COVID times so whatever. But then back then, they dump money on a lot of weird places. But if they have the budget, and then they start implementing these things, then hopefully it does well lah. But our educators, if you want them to be better, to go through proper training to be an educator and to actually want to educate people, that will also cost money. You have to actually pay them more. If not, then they are not willing to work. It's pretty obvious.
You wanted to become a teacher, so
Some people don't want to be a teacher. They obviously stumbled into it.
Or had to.
Okay, let's say if one day I lose my job or whatever, then next thing is, then suddenly someone comes up to you, you want to be a teacher or not? It's pretty easy you just teach some 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
Some people say you just teach 6-year-old, 7-year-old, then slowly you teach 7-year-old, now you can teach 14-year-old, and then slowly you are not trained for this kind of thing.
Okay,
a lot of teachers go through this kind of crash course on you.
Another thing for me is when I say upgrade the education system, I don't mean revamp, get rid of it, but more focus on life lesson, meaning to say because in school we learn academic a lot, and we have moral class and agama class, but do they even teach life common sense and life lessons in school? They don't, because if you expose children or kids or younger teens regarding life situation, every life situation going up is going to be like this, it's going to be like this. At least at the earlier age they have an understanding of the situation,
how the world works,
if you do this kind of thing, for example, you have a class where you tell all the crimes that people do and whatnot. At least they have an understanding, okay, if I do this, I'll be sentenced to jail about this much, it's this one. So at least they understand that these are the things that you cannot do, more of a life rather than focusing so much on academic. Nowadays our generation is not so much academic because it's all about digital skills instead of academics, right? So
coding,
and also into life lessons kind of thing. I think those could help. I don't know, I'm not an educator, but I think teaching children about life lesson would actually help.
And also it's pretty obvious that moral, not to say agama is fine. Agama is fine. Agama, you teach about your religion. Okay, that's fine. But the moral topic itself, the first from standard 1 to form 3, it makes sense because it's literally teaching you about what is the right thing to do and all that stuff. But when it reaches to form 4 and form 5, it's retarded. It's purely memorizing. It's dumb. There is no point in learning it.
There's also civic class, right? Class civic, right?
But I don't remember what they learn. Not for our time.
You got civic class?
No.
Our time, no civic class.
Now they do
civic, because civic class is basically about civilization and whatnot. I think if I'm not mistaken,
civil duty,
how to be civil and whatnot. But I think that class seems to be almost similar like moral, where you have to memorize rather than understand what it is.
It should be more of an understanding subject, not memorize this shit, get an A.
Yeah, correct.
They should really teach this kind of things in a manner where they can absorb it, not just teach it passingly through a textbook, through a textbook.
Yeah, but you can imagine sometimes, even though you have those kind of lessons, right, you find it very interesting where some people just don't have common sense.
Yeah,
it's true.
Really don't have common sense.
It's true though.
But it's not something I learned in school. That's the problem. We don't learn common sense in school.
Yeah.
Today my friend was telling me, right, her boss used to complain we don't apply what we study in our degrees in work today. They should teach us common sense in school, in uni. They should have a degree for common sense, financial management, personal finance, those kind of things, right? So, okay, back to the MRSM case, just to close it off, right? If you were a student there and you find out that, 10 of my classmates got expelled because they beat somebody up, okay, too bad for them. How?
That's probably how they feel though.
Exactly.
Because these kind of things, it doesn't happen directly to them.
And they get
So
expelled.
what do they give a shit about?
But if they get expelled, okay, I can just go to another school, ma.
Yeah.
Right?
True also.
Yeah, true as
So,
well.
and they're only 13, they're like, okay,
Yeah.
I have another 4 more years. And
Yeah.
I guess it has to be something more, little bit on the heavier side.
Yes.
Because kids nowadays is not like us back then. Like
What?
us back then, they're a little bit stupid and dumb.
they got to experience
But
like one time.
the kids nowadays are smart. 'Cause
They know how to work around it.
They know how to work around this shit.
Or if I don't have this opportunity, I have another opportunity.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
father got cable, blah blah blah, all that
Wow.
stuff. You know.
Yeah, and then the other thing is like the world is accessible to them by phone. So I'm pretty sure they're freaking smarter than us back then. Us back then we like very
Yeah, like how they
dumb, so
watch
stupid.
porn on their
So how
Exactly.
how-
No. It could happen like these people who got expelled. If that's the case, I cannot study already. Never mind. I gotta open a burger store.
Burger store.
Yeah,
I
like
gotta
go
open a
business
burger store.
those kind of things.
We waited until like don't know our age to only think about shit, we should sell something. Like I see on the thing I can do this I go and cooking then they start selling. Then suddenly they become rich.
You
Then
will be amazed
They become TikTok star.
how kids still in high school earns money by becoming influencer and whatnot.
Yeah.
You'll be amazed like, hey, they do that. We back then we like, Mom, can I get RM2?
But you have to understand.
That is back then lah.
back then MySpace don't give you ads money. So
What?
too bad. Blogspot, MySpace. We tried. We didn't succeed like the children nowadays did.
Yeah, like I said, children nowadays are way smarter than we think they are. Generation nowadays are way smarter. Like Gen Z or Gen Z and whatnot are smart. Can you imagine the generation after that will be way smarter than Gen Z itself?
Wait, your nephew's generation what? Alpha. What's the
Is
newest
it one of the
generation?
newest generation?
Corona
See, we don't
generation.
even know.
Nobody knows anymore.
Nobody knows what generation
So let's
it is.
hope we all raise good kids.
we stopped at Zoomers.
Wait, Zoomers is Gen Z, right?
Gen Z.
Yeah.
I know there's Gen Alpha, but I don't remember where they stopped.
What is Gen Alpha? Are they like
after Gen Z, which
super
is
duper smart?
no, just the new generation.
Yeah.
So there'll be Alpha, Beta,
Yeah,
Charlie,
yeah.
Delta.
Yeah.
Charlie, is it Charlie?
Yeah,
I don't think it's
Charlie. Yeah, Alpha, Beta, Charlie, Delta.
No, because
Elephant.
okay. Anyways, this one should be discussed somewhere else.
Okay.
Okay, so I think the moral of the story here, moral of the
The
story.
moral of the story is
So,
I don't study moral.
Don't
Thank you.
punch anyone.
okay,
No,
look. So basically, we're not good, we're not bad. But at the end of the day, in our lifetime, people did mistake, and some people regret and repent. But bully is not something that can be settled or can be overcome overnight. It is a long journey to human culture, and because bully is a worldwide thing. It's not just in Malaysia, but it's rampant. And some people, if you're being bullied, kena bully, don't be afraid to step forward and tell people or share people about it, because you're not supposed to get bullied. You're not supposed to. In your life, nobody should bully you.
Nobody should bully you, and you shouldn't stand by when people are being bullied.
Yeah.
And
But of course,
for
I
the
stand
bullies
by also.
out there, before you want to bully somebody, think first. Think like, why? Why is it you didn't want to do this? Why do you do this? Why do you even doing all this?
But then people who bully
They don't think.
Yeah,
they're being taken over by emotions.
Yeah, exactly. So the best practice is by taking a deep breath, and like
Take 2 steps back
yeah,
and think about what you are about to do, and how it will affect everybody.
Yeah, I mean, and then again, like you said, the bully don't think, right? So I get the best way is like, if you think you're a bully, come to your sense and think like, today did I bully somebody, or why did I do what I did? Like this thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure you all like young, but alpha generation, very smart.
Alpha generation not listening to our podcast, confirm.
Yeah. So just
You got 15 to 17-year-old.
Yeah. That,
Somewhere.
don't know from where, but
Gen Z.
thank you for listening.
Gen Z, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. So yeah, stop bully. Just whatever you can. Don't be a hype man for bully.
Okay. What he's trying to say, what Pakcik Anip is trying to say is, okay, don't bully. Okay, bullying is bad. What we need to do as a human race to progress further is to stop this, nip this at the bud.
Yeah.
But, of course, justice is not
Okay.
everywhere.
There's no justice in the world.
There's no justice in the world.
Justice is a made up thing by men.
Of
There
course,
is, but you need to be
but
your own.
you need to be the justice you want to see in the world. Or else you need to be the change.
Build your
Literally.
own justice.
So you have children, name your children Justice. Or like you name your children Yang Arif.
Oh. Arif, lah.
Yes.
Arif.
Yang Arif, okay?
Aduh sakit.
Remember that? Literally my teacher said that.
Correct. Okay, don't bully. That's it. Okay,
Arif,
done. But if you are getting bullied, there are hotlines.
Yes.
DM us. We will help
Yes.
you.
We will help you. We'll sort you out.
They are hotline for being bullies.
We'll get you through to the correct channels. We
Yep.
obviously
Yep.
Come punch those kids.
Yep.
no.
What?
Maybe.
Maybe
Kakak
Kakak Jessica protect you.
Jessica.
Abang Anip cover. Okay.
Abang Jeremy.
Abang Jeremy payung.
But then again, if you turn out to become the bully, that you did.
You did. We kill
Okay,
it.
don't die.
Anyway, okay. That's it for our podcast for today.
Long-winded episode today.
long-winded
Yes.
episode, because it's a very important thing, so
Yep.
we
Very
decided
serious
to have a
topic.
very long episode
With
for this
tangents, obviously. Alright.
Alright.
I'm Jeremy.
one. I'm Anif.
I'm Jessica.
Thank you for watching and listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you like, and do comment if you have any comment that you want to tell us.
Yes.
Okay.
And as per usual, talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Bye, guys.
Bye.